Hey Mary, hello. Vicky. Barbara, hello. Hey Laura. Maureen, how's it going? Kathy. Welcome everybody. Renee, hello. I can see that you can see what I'm doing in the reflection on my glass mat. I better be careful. How's it going for everyone today? I didn't even get out of the house. Is it warm out there? Felt like it was really humid, so I did turn on the air today. Marianne, do you mean the Echo Park bundle? The Christmas one? That will have all the classes? Hi, Bobby. Everybody doing good on this Tuesday? We are going to continue. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant, Marianne, Echo Park. We're going to continue talking about ink. And I've already prepped some tags. Me too. I love them both. With some Distress ink, Distress Oxide, and Lawn Fawn inks, all water reactive. And what we are going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of different techniques using water. I am going to be using my Distress sprayer. It's the sprayer that I use the most. I don't know if any of you took Jen Shirkus's Distress class, but she and I are absolutely on the same page about how this sprayer works. If you give it a full pump, you get a really nice mist, and if you just give it little tiny jabs, I'll guess you'll get little droplets. So what I was going to show was what happens when you splatter water on these different inks, and then one letting it just dry by either by itself or using a heat gun, and then one way how it looks when you splatter it and then pat it with a paper towel. And these techniques with the ink and the water can be used on anything. I'm just using tags because it was a smaller real estate for me to have to get ink today, but card making, tags, layouts, home decor, all kinds of things that you're going to be putting ink on paper. So we will start with the Lawn Fawn ink. I'm going to move these out so they don't get splattered before we want to splatter them. All right. So what I am going to do is I'm going to splatter on both of those. One, I'm going to pat with a paper towel, and one I am going to dry with my heat gun. So you can kind of see the difference in what the drops look like. Hey Sherry. Does it take a long time to dry on its own? No. I mean, it depends on what the moisture level is in your house, you know, the humidity and things too. But hey Susan, it doesn't. 5 or 10 minutes, really, not too bad. I just don't want to wait 10 minutes while you guys are here. That'll be our whole demo. Okay, so this is Peacock. It's the Lawn Fawn, and I am going to just put some splatters on. All right. Can you see those? All right, and on this one, I am going to blot it with a paper towel. And on this one, I am going to use the heat gun. It's really quick when you use the heat gun. Okay, so this is the one with the heat gun. You can see the splatters, and they're pretty, I don't know, they're pretty basic splatters, but you can see a little bit of difference in this one where they kind of have an edge around them, I guess is what I'll say. And yeah, on this one, on this particular ink, the difference is very, very slight. All right, you can hardly tell what the difference is. So that is the difference between on the Lawn Fawn ink splattering and letting it dry or drying it with a heat gun and then blotting it with a paper towel. All right, so that is that one. Then we shall move on to Distress ink. This is Salvage Patina, and these are the mixed media tags that I inked for this demo. All the tags are the same. All right, so we will do the same. Actually, I'm going to do them one at a time so you can really see here. All right, there is some splatters that I'll use the heat gun with. And with the heat gun, it just takes 30 seconds, really, to dry it. All right, so you can see, and this is a lighter ink, so the splatters aren't as obvious, but you can see that is what the water splatters look like when you dry them with the heat tool. So when you put the paper towel on, it really lifts off the ink. And I probably should have picked a darker color to show you, but you can kind of see, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera very well, but can you see that splatter? So where the paper towel, you can see it picks up the ink here on the paper towel and lifts it off, so it gives you a little bit more of a defined splatter, whereas on the one that you're drying with the heat gun, it leaves the ink on, so you get these little frame, these little outlines on your splatters. All right, that is the Distress ink, and next we will do the Oxide. Now the Oxide reacts a little bit differently with water anyway, because it oxidizes when water hits it. So I think that you will see the splatters, and you will also see a change in color. So let's see how, this is Abandoned Coral. Let's see how Abandoned Coral reacts. So we'll do it with the heat gun first. So I'll hold it up a little bit while I'm drying. Can you kind of see how those splatters are showing? And the ink is moving around a little bit to give you kind of a frame. I'm going to just call it a frame because the ink gets a little darker around the edges as you're drying it. Can you see that on the Oxide? So it gets a little darker. All right, you can see that on there. And this we'll dab it with a clean, I flipped the paper towel over so we don't get any blue on there. All right, so we'll put some water here. Splash, splash, splash. Now see, you can see on the paper towel here where it lifted up the ink, and it kind of looks like was it Laura that said kind of a mottled look? So you can see that, and the colors will be a little bit different as it continues to dry more, but it'll be lighter in those splatters because it's lifted the ink off, and you won't get those little edges around there because you've pulled that water off as well. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions? You like the blotted cherry? Yeah. It just really depends on what you're looking for, but you know, you could also take your sprayer apart and use the straw and let it drip or flick it like that. Now if you let it sit for a minute and let the water soak in, you'll get even more of an effect. Sorry. Maybe if I could use my words, ladies, you'd understand what I'm saying. So if you kind of let it sit there for a minute, it's going to lift off more ink when you blot it with the paper towel also. So you can see there, the bigger blobs, you can see a little bit better. And it doesn't show on the camera quite as much, but you can see that. And then you can also see that these drips that we blotted with the paper towel will show up a little bit more once it becomes completely dry. So you can see also on, this is the Lawn Fawn ink. We'll let that sit for a minute and see what happens. Now see, you can already see it in action kind of. Here, I'll hold it up. See how it kind of is working a little bit like alcohol ink works on UPO. So can you see that, how it's turning lighter because it's a bigger blob? And then if you're blotting it with your paper towel, you're pulling up that, but look at that with a bigger, with a bigger blob of water. You really get that ring around the edge. So just a fun little technique. It looks really good for a rain effect, or if you're, what we'll be talking a little bit more about next week is actually using water to kind of age your paper. The little technique that I learned, gosh, it was probably one of the very first techniques that I ever learned with distress to age paper. So we'll be talking about that next Tuesday. So another fun technique that we can do with water and water reactive inks. Yeah, it does looks like kind of like a pool, doesn't it? You can use those new Lawn Fawn critters floating on that tag, right? This one, if we added some yellow, would be a really great sunset background, wouldn't it? With that abandoned coral. Okay, so that is it for today. Does anybody have any questions? I'll just mention that we do have a fun new, it's not really a class, but something that we're doing with AIR, which is a retailer's group that the store belongs to, where you can get a bundle, an Echo Park bundle. It's a Christmas collection. I think it's called The Magic of Christmas. Where you get all sorts of pieces of the collection, and then you will have access to over 25 projects, and it won't be necessarily alive. You'll just have access to the group, to all the instructions for all the projects with written instructions that you can download. So there isn't an exact time that you have to be there to watch any of the classes. So that's a fun thing. Check that out on the website. On our Facebook page too, Madison from Echo Park also talks about that. We also have our Michigan Explosion Box class this Saturday, the 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We still have seats available. So if you want to create that Michigan Explosion Box that we've been showing with the photo play, explosion box base and all of our custom Michigan papers. Like I said, there are still seats available for that on Saturday. And can't think of anything else that we have going on right now. But if nobody has any questions, I am going to call it for this Tuesday. Don't forget, obviously, Scrappy Chic has all of these supplies available in store and online. The spray bottles, the inks. I think you probably have paper towels at home, but if you need heat gun, we've got that too. All right, I'll give it a minute, see if anybody has any questions. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you missed the beginning and want to see the whole thing, we will have this up on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Scrappy Chic Livonia, so you have access to the replay. And if you have any questions during the replay, you can always comment below and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So, thank you again. Have a great rest of your evening. Stay cool. It's supposed to be hot these next couple of days. I'm going to get back to working on my studio. All right, everybody. Thank you.